Hi, and welcome to Chair Yoga. I'm Casey Carroll, and I'm looking forward to practicing with you today. We have a really unique theme where we're going to be looking at yoga as not only a workout, but a work in. And I'll be leading us through that throughout the practice. And this is a recording, so I've decided not to play music from my end. That way, if you're going to watch this again and again, you can change the music on your end to whatever you want. So feel free to pause the video and put some music on. And then the last thing I want to mention before we begin is I also offer live classes on Zoom. And you can find me at caseycarrollyoga.com. There's info in the description of this video. I hope to see you in class live. So let's get started. So we'll begin the practice today just by arriving wherever you were before, wherever you're going after. We don't need to be there. We can just be here. So first we'll find our seat, and the way to find that is to come to the middle of the chair. You don't want to be so far forward you're hinging forward. You don't want to be so far back that you're leaning back on the chair. If you find the sweet spot, you'll notice your spine starts to lengthen. And you'll have your knees stacked over your ankles. If you make two fists and put them in between your knees, that's the right distance that you want your legs. Hands can be palm down or palms up. Tailbone is tucked slightly. Long, tall spine, chest and heart are open and lifted. Chin can be parallel to the floor, so maybe tucked just a little bit. Shoulders can come up, back, and down. Maybe imagining a string coming out of your head, pulling you up towards the sky, and then imagining your sit bones pulling you down into the chair. So there's this opposite stretch and lengthening happening. And I invite you to close your eyes if that's comfortable for you. And this is where the work in will begin. We'll start to work in before we start the workout. And just start by noticing your natural breath. Noticing how you're arriving here today. I'm noticing that my breath is a little short. I've had a lot going on already today. So I'm just going to lengthen my inhales and my exhales. And then if you'd like to set an intention for class, this would be a good time to do that. If you'd like an intention and nothing's coming up for you, maybe it's to be present today, to really experience this class, to begin to notice the work in and the work out, how they're connected, how they're different. And just take a few more breaths here. And we'll begin to actually add some rhythm to the breath now. And we're going to do some coherent breathing. And all this is we're going to inhale on the count of 2, and then we're going to double it for the exhale. And coherent breathing, that's how it works. It's just you're inhaling for a certain count and exhaling double that count. You can use any numbers you want. I like 2 and 4. I recommend starting with a smaller count if you haven't done this a lot. So go ahead and exhale and inhale 1, 2, exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. Inhale 1, 2, exhale 1, 2, 3, 4. And go ahead and do a few of those on your own. And when you're ready, if you want to open your eyes, maybe just start to gently and softly flutter them open. Maybe start to wiggle the body a little bit, make some movement. If there's any intuitive movement maybe you want to do, feel free to do that. Maybe it's a nice big stretch. So the work in has begun. Just the act of closing the eyes or having a soft gaze and connecting to our breath and adding rhythm gets us started. And we can do that off the chair and mat too, anytime. So we'll begin just by warming up the neck. And so there are a couple options here. The first is you can do neck rolls. And the second is just going up and down. So chin to chest and then chin to the sky. I'm going to do chin to chest and chin to the sky today, but pick whatever option works best for you. And just remember to breathe, which I say a lot in class because I have to remind myself. And then when you're back at center, if you were doing neck rolls, go ahead and switch directions. And if you were going up and down, now you can go side to side. Maybe you start to partner your breath with movement. So inhaling to one side, exhaling to the other. And the next time you're at center, we'll just take a break here, take a breath, and we'll go into the shoulders now. And so go ahead and scrunch your shoulders all the way up to your ears as high as possible, and then come down. And we'll do that just a few times, just really noticing what it feels like to have the tension and then what it feels like to release. And then when you're ready, we can just do some circles to the back of the room. Breathing here. Noticing how we can do a work in and a work out here. If we're breathing, and it can also help to focus on something in front of you too. And just switch directions. Yeah, so that work in, we can access it a little easier if we have something in front of us that's not moving that we can see. And when you're back at center, we'll go on to our wrists and ankles. So if you'd like to do these at the same time, you can have both arms out in front of you and start making circles with your wrists, and same with your feet. Just making circles with your ankles and your wrists. Breathing here. And then switch directions when you're ready. And when that feels complete, we'll come back to center and we'll move into some side bends, and we're going to pair these with our breath. So go ahead and inhale the arms up, and then exhale your left arm down to the chair and bend over to the left. Inhale the arms up, exhale the right hand over to the chair and bend over to the right. Inhale both arms up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down, and go ahead and do a few more of these on your own. And I just want you to notice when you're bending over to the side, is the opposite sit bone coming off of the chair? And if it is, instead of bending over as much as you are, maybe try coming just a little closer. Don't go all the way down. Just stop when that sit bone starts to come up. We're just opening the side body. How far we bend isn't really the goal. And the next time both arms are up, come back to center and you can put both arms back on the legs. And we'll just take a breath here. And we'll move into the torso now. And so we'll do some cat-cows And I'll demonstrate this to the side so you can see me. But feel free to start to join me, or if you haven't done this before, you can watch me first and then join when you're ready. But basically, we're going to start with cow by lifting the heart and chest to the sky and chin, arching the back. Hands are on the knees and can even pull on the knees a little bit to get a bigger arch. And then on an exhale, we come into cat. The chin comes to the chest, the belly comes into the spine, and our back is curved over. Inhaling up, heart and chest and chin lifted. Exhaling, chin to chest, curved back. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Couple more of these on your own. And when you come into cat with that curved back, you can also use the hands on the knees to get even further into that stretch, into the back, just pulling on the knees. Pulling on the knees and the knees pushing into the hands. And the next time you're back at center, we'll just come here and take a quick breath. Take your time. And we're going to move into boat posture or Navasana. And we're going to use the chair for this one. I'm going to show you from the side. So I'm holding on to the chair. I'm towards the front of the chair for this one because I'm going to have a hinged back. So there are a few options here. The first is coming onto your tippy toes, hinging slightly back, engaging that core. The second is to begin to lift the feet, maybe one at a time or both together, hinging the back, engaging the torso. Take a breath here wherever you are. And if you'd like to do option 3, you can lift the feet so your shins are parallel to the mat using the chair. Taking a breath here. And then coming back down. This is a good one for the body to show you how strong it is, even if it's shaking, which mine was. So now let's go ahead and stand now that we're feeling nice and strong. And we'll come into a forward fold and we'll get into the backs of the legs. So you want your chair in front of you with the seat side in front. And then you want to be about a foot's distance from your chair. Now, when we were seated, we had our foundation posture, we had our fists in between our knees, we had everything lined up. While we're standing, there's also a foundation posture. This is called mountain or Tadasana. And what you do is you root down through both feet, all 4 corners. Knees can be slightly bent, tailbone is tucked. I'll do this to the side. Tailbone is tucked. Long, tall spine, shoulders are up, back, and down. Heart and chest are lifted. Chin is parallel to the floor, just like when we were seated, maybe tucked just a little bit. Shoulders up to the ears, all the way to the back of the room and down. Arms come down by the sides, palms facing forward. And now we're going to go ahead and fold over and place our hands on the chair. So the way we'll get there is you can either just go directly there, or if you want, you can have both hands on your hips. And then with a flat back, slightly bent knees, you'll just hinge forward. And then your hands can find the chair. Now, if you're like me, there might be a lot of sensation already in the legs. And so if you want to do any intuitive movement here, I tend to like to come in and out because standing in that sensation, it can be a little loud for me. The backs of my legs tend to be pretty tight. So you might pedal out your feet. Now you can stay here, or if you want more sensation in the backs of the legs, feel free to just start to bend the elbows, and you'll know your edge when you can slow down or stop by your breath becoming shallow. So I'm feeling like coming down to my forearms here, and I'm going to clasp my hands. And I am having a lot of sensation here, so I'm just going to start a little movement in my legs. Some people like to stay static in the sensation, and that's great too. Just really doing whatever works best for you. Just take 2 more breaths here. And if you were on your forearms, go ahead and come back to your hands. And then we'll do a wide-legged forward fold while we're here. So just take the legs a little further apart and we'll do the same movement. If you want more sensation here, you can just bend the elbows. Again, this isn't about how far you can bend over. It's just connecting with your body and the sensations. But you don't want to be in pain. And what you're doing doesn't need to look like what other people are doing either. Again, movement can be nice here. And we're just going to be here for 2 more breaths. And when you're ready, come back to your hands, and then you can shimmy your feet back to center. And then we'll come up, so hands can come to the hips with a flat back. We can come up to stand. And let's take a breath here, maybe even closing the eyes for a second, coming back to that work in. And then when you're ready, go ahead and flutter the eyes open, and we'll come back. And we'll move into Warrior Two. And there are a couple options for the chair. You can have it right in front of you, so you can hold on to it. You can have it up here, so you can hold on to it here. Basically, we're going to end up in this posture. So you can have a hand here, or if it's here, you can have your hand here. I like it in front of me, but just for the sake of class, so you can see me, I'm going to move my chair. You also have the option to not use your chair. It's whatever works for you, or maybe a hybrid of both. So come into your Tadasana. Long, tall spine, shoulders up, back, and down, arms by your sides, palms facing forward. Take a big breath here. And then begin to widen your stance. It doesn't have to be too wide, just whatever's comfortable and how you feel balanced, knowing you can use your chair. And then take your left toes and face them towards the side of the room. And then you're going to bend that left knee to where your knee is stacked over your ankle. Heart and chest are lifted and open. Both arms come out to Warrior Two, Virabhadrasana 2. Gaze is over those front fingers. Releasing tension in the shoulders. If you notice your left knee coming towards the front of the room, you can just gently place it back so it's facing center. And let's add breath with movement here. So straighten that leg, arms come up on an inhale, and then exhale back to Warrior Two. Inhale up, exhale down. Inhale up, exhale down. Just do a couple more of these on your own. And the next time you're in Warrior Two, go ahead and straighten that leg. Arms can come down. Toes can come back to facing the front of the room, and then we'll go to the other side. So toes, your right toes face the side of the room. That right knee goes stacked over your ankle. If you need to adjust your stance a little wider, you can. Your body will usually tell you what it needs. Mine just did that. And then with chest and heart lifted, both arms out, Virabhadrasana 2, take a breath here. Gaze is over those fingertips. Noticing if that right knee is coming towards the front of the room, just gently placing it back to center. One more breath here. And then let's go ahead and add breath with movement here. So straighten that leg, arms come up. Inhale, exhale, down to warrior two. Inhale, up, exhale, down. Inhale, up, exhale, down. Do a few more of those on your own. Making sure you're breathing here. And before we move on, just take a breath here in warrior two, releasing any tension where you can. And then when you're ready, arms can come down, straighten that leg, and then you can have both feet now facing the front, and then either grabbing your chair or just shimmying back to center. Coming back to Tadasana, rooting down through the feet. Knees can be slightly bent, tailbone tucked. Long, tall spine, imagining a string coming from your crown, pulling you up, but then your feet rooting you down. That opposite stretch, pulling you long and tall. Shoulders are up, back, and down. Chest and heart are lifted. Arms are at the sides, palms are forward, and then tucking that chin just a little bit so you're in a straight line. Taking a breath here. Mountain posture or Tadasana is a great posture for working in while we're working out. This is great to do if you are waiting in line at a grocery store. I mean, you don't have to be this ergonomic about it, but just tucking that tailbone, long, tall spine, claiming your space, taking your breath, not being in a rush, if possible. One more breath here. And when you're ready, we'll come back to our seat. So bring your chair back to a good spot for you and find your seat. And we're going to move into a twist now. So go ahead and find your foundation seat, your center, and then move your right foot to the center and cross your left leg over if that's available to you. If not, you can have your foot kickstand on your ankle. Your left hand can be on the chair, inhaling the right arm up and outside of the knee. Inhaling a long, tall spine, and then exhaling, twisting, looking over the left shoulder. And just like in Warrior Two, see where you can release tension here. Maybe on each exhale, you're seeing if you can release tension. I'm noticing there's tension in my belly, so I'm going to soften my belly. I'm going to relax my shoulders. On the next exhale, see if you can twist even further. And when you're ready, we'll come back to center. And then we'll take our left foot into the center and cross your right foot over, holding onto the chair with your right hand, inhaling your left arm up to the sky and outside your knee. Inhaling to a long, tall spine, chest is lifted. Exhaling to twist to look over your right shoulder. And again here, seeing if you can release any tension. And here we're working out, we're twisting, we're cleansing, we're detoxing, we're stretching, we're working on flexibility. But as we try to notice where we can soften, the awareness that we're gaining is that work in. On the next exhale, see if you can twist just a little further. And then when you're ready, we'll come back to center. And we're going to go into pigeon now and really open up the hips. So you'll take your left foot, your left ankle, onto your right knee. And if this isn't available to you, then that's fine. You can kickstand your foot here. And then you'll place a hand on your ankle and a hand on your knee. And then this is another example of a posture where I like to go in and out of it rather than just sitting in the sensation, because the sensations here can be loud. So what we're going to do is we're going to hinge forward with a flat back, feeling the edge of that sensation. When we start to have shallower breath or when we stop breathing, we can pull back. For me, I don't have to go very far. And then if you want, you can start to go in and out of it, kind of rocking in this rocking motion. Maybe you're inhaling on the way back and then exhaling forward and seeing if each exhale you can go a little further. Remembering to keep that back flat, long, tall spine, relaxing your shoulders, breathing. Just one more breath here. And then when you're ready, if you would like to, you can just fully release over, letting the neck and head and back go, just rounding your back, chin towards the chest. And there are these little micro movements here that can make a difference if you want to experiment with the sensation a little bit. Try connecting your chin to your chest as much as possible and just seeing if you get a little more sensation in that left leg. And then again, just coming out of it, in and out. One more breath here. And when you're ready, we'll come up and we'll do the other side. Maybe taking a breath here. Maybe shaking out that leg. So the right ankle can come onto the left knee. One hand on your ankle, one hand on your knee. Long, tall spine. Shoulders up, back, and down. We're still in that Tadasana here. Even imagining that string again, pulling you to the sky and your hip bones, your sit bones, pushing you into the chair. And with that flat back, start to hinge forward into the sensation. Breathing here. Maybe finding something to look at in front of you that's not moving so your mind can just relax. And if you want to do movement in and out of this posture, you can do that. Just inhaling back, exhaling forward. Maybe exhaling a little further forward if that works for you. Just remembering to breathe and no need to push the body. And then if you'd like to, you can just fully bend over and release the back and neck and head. And if you want to play with that sensation on this side too, you can bring your chin to your chest. You might even be able